Hi, my name is Hannah Smolch, and this is the Started in Stanford podcast. I interview the entrepreneurs of Stamford, Connecticut to learn a little bit more about what they do and why. Today we have Keith Reynolds with us. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
Of course. So first, can you explain a little bit about what you do?
Sure. So I have a background in technology marketing and using technology for marketing. I've worked on the brand side for companies like IBM and Apple, and a number of startups I've been involved with. And most recently, I worked for agencies. And about 2 years ago, I decided that I didn't want to be doing agency work, but really I wanted to do consulting and training and speaking and helping people learn to fish rather than making fish for people.
Yeah, that's awesome. So how does your business specifically change the future of marketing, or how are you planning to innovate it?
Well, I think one of the things that I've done that's really innovative is I've tied content marketing and search engine optimization and social media to ROI metrics that a business can actually use to integrate those tools into their business. For the longest time, media was built around an advertising-based model. And as companies got access to the tools, they really didn't have a way to measure what was making them successful using the social media platforms and social search engine optimization. So I've proposed a way that companies can tie all of this media development that they're doing to their larger goals.
Awesome. Yeah, it's definitely a need for this day and age where everyone's advertising, and businesses really need to learn a way to stand out. Yeah. So why exactly did you choose Stanford for this venture? Why is it a great location?
Well, I live here. I moved to Stanford in 1992 and raised 2 kids here, and it's a great, so it was a matter of convenience as a startup to keep my overhead down. I have access to New York City. I've up until very recently was traveling down to New York City 3 to 6 times a month. And it's just it's a short commute down there, and yet I get to not spend my time commuting a lot and put more time into being productive on my business.
Yeah, definitely. Also, what inspired you to begin your business?
I've been threatening to write a book for a long time. I lost my job and got involved with Stanford Innovation Week as a program director in its first year. And while I was working there, I realized if I don't write my book now, I probably never will. And so I took 90 days to get the book written and get the ideas fleshed out and some public speaking materials organized. And within 90 days, I had a revenue producing company up and running.
That's great. Yeah. To go off you mentioned your book, and I know you have quite a few products within your business. How does that connect to the purpose of your business and your mission?
My mission is really to help people learn and grow. And one of the things I have a unique capability of doing is sizing up a situation and organizing documentation and spreadsheets and PowerPoints and just organizing people to start being productive and how to track along your success. So I've always enjoyed doing that kind of getting everything rounded up, and I was able to build my company that way, both to help people learn along the way, and then have tools to help them.
Yeah, I feel like behind every business there needs to be some type of organization for just to learn how to market properly. And, you know, obviously not every business owner is going to have a marketing background. They need to have these resources.
Yep. So I've turned that desire to help people learn and grow into materials that I can sell. So I have a book on Amazon. I have workbooks. I have worksheets that I sell for $100 a piece, and then I do consulting on a project or hourly basis. And my consulting would then involve using the worksheets so the customers can keep track of their development.
Yeah.
And eventually I want to turn the worksheets into software.
Yeah. Have you found, since COVID-19 began and the whole country pretty much went into lockdown, have you found any changes, difficulties, just effects on your business?
Well, you know, my clients are small to mid-sized businesses right now.
Yeah.
And they're having just a very hard time, which in turn has impacted my own revenue. So, you know, I think that's been the biggest impact. I'm lucky in that in the last 10, 15 years, I've always been able to work at home. You know, I'll go into a client, or I've had jobs where my employer, we all telecommuted. I had the company before, we had our COO in North Carolina, our CEO in New York City, and I was headed up marketing and sales, and I was based in Stamford, Connecticut. So virtual teams I've been working on virtual teams for 20 years.
That's great. Yeah. So the communication isn't really an issue, but I mean, obviously the economy is, and the way it's affecting the businesses.
Brutal. Yeah. We're going to be in a long and deep recession, I fear.
Yeah.
But hopefully, you know, tools like this that we're using to do this podcast on, the things that people are inventing right now to keep things going are going to become the way we do business. In fact, on my website, I just wrote a blog post about that, trying to help vision a future and encourage company owners to use this time to rethink their priorities and to look at new ways to work together. You know, you might be able to add a lot of productivity and expand your labor pool if you use virtual work teams, where you might have never been pushed to go that direction in the future.
Yeah, and it's good to hear that a lot of businesses are really taking advantage of these types of systems like Zoom to change and make sure that all their employees are staying safe and following all the guidelines just to be safe, really.
Yeah.
But yeah, your business is very interesting, and it's definitely innovating the marketing world, I think, especially for those small to medium businesses that are going to be suffering soon.
Yeah.
So, and really now. So where can we find you? Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say that the things that I'm teaching in my book are things that I learned in the late 1980s, early 1990s, because I worked at IBM and we had a virtual team. We had people in Atlanta and Bethesda, Maryland, and Milford, Connecticut. And we had to get things done on a national basis to roll out a marketing program to deliver personal computers to college students and faculty and staff. And we had individual marketing programs on 1,500 college campuses, and we had to have the metrics to see, you know, what was working, which college campuses were succeeding and which were not, and how could we apply the learnings from those, each little microcosm of the overall. We wanted to be able to get the best practices over to the other schools. And so the 7 years that I worked at IBM just really gave me a foundation in how I've approached using the internet. And instead of having a college bookstore to drive everybody to buy a computer, your website is now the replacement for that. And that's just been sort of at the core of what I try and teach people.
Yeah, of course. I mean, those methods are still applicable, just different products.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome. So where can people find you?
So I can be found at www.publi.io, PUBLI.io.
All right, great. Well, thank you so much for joining us.
Well, thanks for having me.
Of course.